Hi, everybody. This is Bennett Sebastian with Envision Construction and Development. This is the second in a series of interviews I'm doing with commercial real estate professionals that contribute to the overall built environment that we work in. And today I have the honor of interviewing Jody Barry with Project Management Advisors. Jody's going to shed some light on the value that a project management company can bring to the table for their clients. And he's got a little background, well, not a little, but he's got a big background in healthcare development. And so we're going to talk a little bit about what he's seeing on the healthcare development sector and some of the trends that we're seeing there. And hopefully you find it informative and helpful, and consider using a project manager for your next project. So let's go ahead and jump into that interview. Hey, Jody, good morning.
Good morning, Bennett.
Thanks
Thanks for
for
having me on today.
absolutely. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate you coming to share a little bit about what project management is all about, what your company does, and how you can help some of the owners out there that are looking to build a project.
Great.
Yeah. So
look forward to talking with you about this.
Yeah. So you're with Project Management Advisors. Tell me a little bit about what the company does, and how you operate, and what your presence is, locally, nationally, and so on.
Sure. From a big picture standpoint, we're a real estate advisory firm. We act as the owner's representative and stand in their shoes and applying all of our knowledge and experience to their needs and prioritizing their interest in developing real estate.
Okay. So that's kind of a broad overview of what you do. So how did you get into what you're doing? What's your background?
So my background is in healthcare development, 25 years or so in healthcare development. Everything from hospital campuses to bed towers, medical office buildings, standalone emergency rooms. I've pretty much done every facility there is in healthcare.
Okay, and that's what you're continuing to focus on right now with PMA.
It is, I'm kind of in charge of the healthcare portfolio that we have. Mm-hmm. But our overall portfolio has luxury condominiums, corporate campuses, life science labs, cultural centers, student housing. We pretty much do everything across all sectors and in all areas, including public and private.
Okay. So, like more specifically, what does project management entail? How is that different from construction management? Those words are kind of used interchangeably.
They are. It's also used interchangeably with program management, but our work begins well before construction. We work best when we're brought in early to a project before design begins. We help select the appropriate design team because we know most of the quality architects. We help select a contractor, again, because we know the good contractors. And then we really assist in the overall process of developing real estate. Okay. A lot of our clients just hire us to help them develop an overall real estate strategy. Thinking through, what to build and what's going to meet their needs for the years to come. It's fun work, and we love our clients, and we love this kind of work. We find it exciting, actually.
Yeah, well, I mean, it seems like a great resource for companies that don't have, experience with taking a project from concept to completion. Not every company has a staff of construction managers and development managers like your former employer did.
Right. That's right. Our clients are great at the business that they do, from running hotels to develop office buildings, and they're really good at their core competencies. But many companies don't have staff to help them develop real estate. Mm-hmm. Developing real estate is very complicated, involving millions of dollars, and a project can go sideways very quickly unless you have someone looking at the big picture and also looking down the road, expecting obstacles to come, especially when it involves permitting or difficult items to obtain for the project. various construction materials. So we're good at putting together a great team and then we act as the glue that keeps everybody together, and we work as a team to bring in an overall excellent project.
Okay. So it's almost like you guys are a de facto developer, but you're not taking on. I mean, you're putting some of the risk on the owner, but the reward is also to the owner because they're not paying a developer, a development management fee and whatnot. So is that an accurate description? You're sort of a hired developer?
We are. We don't, as a company, invest or develop anything. We want to keep our clients' interest ahead of ours. So we don't get into ownership. Um, but what we do is, like I said, we represent the owner as if it was our money, and side like I said, projects can go sideways very quickly. And right now. Projects are more complex. There's multiple stakeholders. Sometimes our clients are entering into a new market, and sometimes these the multi-million-dollar projects, and it's make or break for them. And so, what we come in is provide an expertise in using our experience to develop a project on time and on budget. The time that we can save in a project, getting to market sooner, so to speak. If a project's delayed 6 months, that means that that facility is not open and revenue is not coming in. But what we can do is, make sure we minimize the schedule and, get everybody, rowing the same direction to make sure it comes in on time and it opens on time. And so, our fees generally are well below the savings that the client gets by opening on time.
Okay, gotcha. So you mentioned getting involved early in the process. What services do you provide in that early stage? I mean, are you helping them with site selection, market analysis, and where to go, where to expand into, what markets to go into?
Yes, exactly. We use our experience in development. We help them. First and foremost, we have to understand what their objectives are, and what's their long-term view, what's their short-term view, what is their corporate strategy, business strategy, and then knowing the big picture objectives, we can take those and translate those objectives into bricks and mortar for them.
Okay.
So we help from the very beginning of, there's a embryonic idea of a project, so to speak, and we help them develop it into a design and location, and then at the end we hand them the keys. So we do everything related to that entire process. A lot of clients hire us only for a portion of that process. Sometimes we're just brought in, when the property's already purchased and they want to start design. And so that's probably about 60% of the work that we do is pretty much the design and construction process.
Okay. And you're helping them along with budgeting as the concept is becoming clearer, and scheduling.
Exactly.
How long it's going to take to build.
Yeah. We manage the budget and the schedule. So it's our responsibility to make sure that both those objectives are met, and we have tracking software that we use to make sure that everything's working on time and every little piece of the schedule is on time. And if that happens, then the overall schedule can be successful as well.
Okay. So what type of projects would really, what kind of clients or projects would really call for a project manager like yourself? I mean, does every project require a project manager?
Not really. More simple projects, small build outs and things like that don't require a project manager. But the more complex, the more risky projects certainly do. And it's money well spent to bring in someone who's done hundreds of these types of projects, and use them as your trusted advisor to help you make decisions and guide guide folks through these processes. Typically a company will assign one person to, help us build this office building or this hotel. And, that person may be great at, hotel management, but they don't know the first thing about developing or building one. So that's where we come in, and we essentially represent them and supplement them in to make a project more successful.
Okay.
And it's funny, about 20% of our business are clients that thought they could manage a project on their own and started it and quickly ran into the ditch, and we get a frantic call and said, hey, we hear you guys can help us out. Can you come in? And so then we jump in and try to write the project back on track.
Yeah, no, that's definitely something that I would certainly feel better if I was a large company and didn't have the experience with coordinating all these different, stakeholders
Right.
and vendors. I mean, you're talking, there's a big team there, and you guys are sort of acting as quarterback.
That's right. Exactly. That's a good term. We're the quarterback of the project.
Yeah. So you're focused more on healthcare. That's your background.
Mm-hmm.
What are you seeing in the healthcare development world right now? What's happening out there? I mean, is it immune to what's going on with the slowdown right now? I mean, what are you seeing?
Well, in the Sun Belt states, especially the states that are growing, before COVID, all the major systems have had big expansion plans. Now, when COVID came along, their revenue dropped dramatically because people were afraid to go to emergency rooms, afraid of catching it. Most states, I think, even stopped outpatient procedures and surgeries, unless they were, life-saving surgeries. So the revenues went down, and so most of the systems put these projects on hold. But now that we're several months into the pandemic, they're starting to loosen the reins on those, and the projects are coming back. In the big picture, outside of COVID, for a number of years, hospitals who are savvy about the market have been busy building outpatient centers. And that would include a medical office building, outpatient surgery in it, physician office space, rehab facilities, that kind of thing, and then also standalone emergency rooms. The idea is if you plant that type of facility in a market, grow your patient base, then eventually you could probably build a hospital there. So that's the strategy a lot of the like I said, the savvy healthcare systems are doing.
So what about this term, the retailization of healthcare? What are you seeing there? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, it goes into what I've been saying. We're becoming more and more a convenient society. You look at Amazon, and this just flourished during the pandemic, doing so well. But we're getting to consumer behavior has changed, and that we want our service to be more convenient, easier access. And so the model of a downtown hospital where most of the services are provided is going away. And so hospital systems are planning these outpatient facilities more out in the bedroom communities and in the suburbs to make them more accessible. Say for instance, a standalone emergency room, just like an Italian restaurant, you drive by an Italian restaurant 30 times and it's Friday night, and you say, hey, I feel like Italian, where do you want to go? And oh yeah, there's an Italian restaurant. I've seen it. Same thing with healthcare. Sunday afternoon, husband's cutting a limb off a backyard tree, falls off the ladder, needs to go to the emergency room, and they say, where can we go? Well, the hospital's far away. Oh, there's that emergency room right near us. We can just go there. And so that retailization is happening there with that kind of situation. So healthcare providers are realizing that, and they're doing a lot to better meet their customers' needs.
So I've seen healthcare operators moving into retail centers, even malls. Is that something you're seeing locally?
A bit. Nashville had a regional mall go under, and the Vanderbilt University hospital, just bought it and transitioned it into a healthcare center. And I think they even have overnight stay beds there now. And if you think about retail, they're placed in easy, accessible spots. They're near people. They're easy to get to, and that's why they're a retail center, right? When a hospital, a healthcare provider, puts their services in the same type of situation, it makes things easier, and it's taking the service to the consumer.
Gotcha. Locally, what are some of the projects you guys are involved in? Is there any notable projects that you can talk about?
Yeah, sure. PMA big picture PMA is we have several clients that we have to keep confidential to the world, but just suffice to say, we work for a lot of tech companies. But locally, we're working with Orlando Health, the UCF College of Medicine, Seminole County. We were honored to be selected to do the Pulse Memorial and Museum. Also honored to do the Edith Bush Foundation headquarters building.
No, that's great.
So we're busy even in the downturn. And personally, I'm assisting our Los Angeles office with a proton therapy project.
Oh, wow.
Proton therapy is used to treat cancer. It's kind of the latest and greatest cancer treatment. And
we had one of those.
Project.
We have one of those in Orlando. Is that right, or is it just
we
one?
do? Orlando Health has one at their downtown campus, and there's a second one being developed in Hamlin on the west side.
Oh, okay. Who's doing that?
A company out of Nashville. They're out of Knoxville, called Provision, and they actually make their own machines and run the facility. They do everything.
Well, that's pretty impressive. Well, that's great, Jody. Thanks for sharing a little bit about what you guys are doing, and taking the time to come on. Is there any final thoughts that you want to share with the audience?
I would just say if someone's thinking about developing a project, talk to a project manager, free of charge, and just say, hey, this is what we're doing. Do you think you could help us? And just kind of get a big picture of it. Everybody has a lot to do on their regular job, and when you add a multi-million-dollar project to their workload, it can be overwhelming. So project manager can take a big load off their plate. So I would just say, do your homework and investigate, and figure out what's best for you.
Mm-hmm.
So,
okay. Yeah. Well, Jody, what's the best way to reach PMA or get a hold of you?
Our website is pmainc.com. And then my email is Jody, JODYB, at pmainc.com.
Okay.
So glad to help. Like I said, anybody thinking of a project, free of charge, call. We can just bounce ideas off us and figure out the right way to go.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your contribution to this series and shedding some light on what you guys do. So I appreciate that, Jody.
Thank you, Bennett. Thanks for the opportunity to talk to you, and appreciate best of luck in these interviews and as your business grows. I'm glad to see all that happening for you.
Thanks, Jody. Appreciate it. And thanks again.
Thank you.